Hey guys, so here I'm going to explain a situation that happened in one of my cabins in Tennessee where a guest was complaining and was asking for a refund and how we handled it. Okay, so just here, it's always good to kind of know the reservation itself, what's the context, right? So this is a Christmas reservation, big, reservation. 8 guests, $2,300 payout for 5 nights. So that's almost $500 a night. Way above average for this property. So something that we want to keep in mind always is that it's a big reservation. We can't lose it. We got to make sure that we don't, get stuck with an open calendar if this guest cancels. Again, biggest thing is not letting a guest cancel. If they have a reason to cancel, say for example the water isn't working, and they can technically cancel as related to Airbnb and get a full refund, we need to do everything we can to make sure that we're on top of it so that they cannot cancel and get a full refund. So here we go. Let's dive into it. What happened in the beginning? Okay, generic opening message. Here's our auto message which goes out. Okay. Let's see. Okay. They checked in normal time. They wanted to check in early, but they checked in normal time, no problem. Okay, they're there. They arrived. Okay, here we go. There's currently no water coming through the faucets, hot or cold. Only a few have taken showers so far today. All we need a few light bulbs. Some are burnt out. The fridge probe is bulb. Some of the lamps are burnt out. Okay, so there's the initial problem, which happened on Christmas Day, 2 in the afternoon, day after check-in. What happened was, in this particular case, there was a water problem in the what's called the HOA, the homeowner association, the community to which this cabin belongs, shares water. There's a tank that it shares. And that there had been a bunch of people who either were wasting water or there were some leaks in some houses, but basically the tank had gotten too low and they put an emergency kind of hold on use of water on Christmas Day. So you can see how this is pretty stressful. Big reservation, Christmas Day, and no water. So, we were texting back and forth with them. Here you can see that we didn't respond to Airbnb for a day. Here, we really should have responded to this message right away saying, hey, we're on top of it. We're messaging with you. We're working on it. That way, if the case manager gets involved, they can see that we started responding immediately after. So there was the first little bit of mistake for us here. Okay? Here we go. But we did show that we're working on it. So here now on that day, right after we met them, they responded immediately saying, there's still no water, small kids, no water, call the resort, no problem, it's unsanitary. When it appears we will have to leave this morning and try to get a hotel. What other accommodations can you find? Basically, what about refunds? At this point, we're like, okay, we got to get on top of this ASAP. What really should have happened is, as soon as there was no water, we should have had my maintenance guy deliver water right then and there. Deliver some, at least tanks of water so they could have water for their trip. Plumbing and toilets and all that kind of stuff aside, we need to do at least as much as we can, which we did eventually end up doing, but it needed to be faster and quicker. So at this point, I called the guests and started talking to them, explained the situation, said, hey, there's a water outage. You cannot use water between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. So try to plan accordingly because, between those hours, they're shutting off the water. But basically, if that's the case, if there's that kind of situation where there's no water, there's a shutdown on the water, and we have to let them know so they can plan around it. That way they can all take showers, before 9 p.m. when they shut it off. Everyone can get their shower in before they go out, just so that everyone kind of is aware of what's going on. And of course, we're going to get at this point, we know we're going to get a refund, at least 50%, because it's a main utility, water, anything like water, heat, the main things. They're gonna if the guest doesn't have that and they decide to stay, they're still getting at least 50% back. So basically we know that we're at least getting 50% refund on the nights that this happened, but we want to at least keep the reservation if we can. So here we are, we're doing our best to basically minimize the problem. Our maintenance staff is going to deliver you water. The resort to the water will be back in the morning. So we're basically sending them water, and it keeps going. Basically, it's us communicating with them. At this point, we are, we're just making sure we try to minimize the damage. So then they wanted more towels, and my cleaner went over there in the morning on the 28th to deliver more towels. So here, this is kind of the guest getting upset. We called Terry last night during the issues. He was not here immediately, as he said he was going to be. So they're doing quotation marks through. They're aggravated and they're upset, right? So now it's starting to get a little bit aggressive, And this is, at this point we start going into defensive mode. We're defending ourselves from because they're setting themselves up for a big refund. We're going to be defending ourselves. They said, "Oh, we called you, right?" And what I said was that I didn't receive a call from them. I received a call from a different number that was not associated with the number from their account. And I said, well, if you're calling me from numbers that are not associated with your account, I don't take calls from numbers I don't recognize. That could be why I didn't answer that call. Just kind of defending myself, basically. Saying, because you want to always prove that you're working your hardest to get things fixed and done. So yeah, I can assure you I never turn my phone off. My phone's always on. Feel free to call me. It's more likely you didn't have service than the call didn't go through. And I went back on my phone and looked at the calls. So basically, we had a little argument back and forth, That being said, I did tell them very early on, any issues during your trip, you call Terry or Ginger. Those are my two handymen in Tennessee. Call them immediately. So if the guest doesn't do that immediately and call them, that's kind of their fault because they have all the information that they need. Okay, so basically we had a pretty bad back and forth, and what ended up happening was we gave them a refund of 50% per night for the nights that the water was an issue, which is about what should have happened. But we did save the reservation, so that's good. We were able to somehow save it. And at this point, you also want to start thinking about reviews. Is this guest going to give us a bad review? We don't really want to get a bad review, so we start talking to them in the WhatsApp chat and say, hey guys, I'd rather not give you guys a bad review. We don't want to get one from you either. How about we just agree to not leave each other reviews? And if they agree to that, then you also want to mention, by the way, if you do leave a review, we won't be able to see what you wrote until after we leave a review. That's the way it's set up. We won't be able to see what you wrote until after you already wrote it. So if you end up writing one and we see that you wrote one, we get a notification that says that you sent us one, we're going to have to assume that it's a very bad one. We're going to have to leave a really bad one back. So let's just avoid that altogether. Let's just not leave each other reviews, and we can just kind of let Airbnb handle the refund, and then both of us will walk away from this without any bad reviews. And that's the best case scenario. That is what happened here, luckily. So we turned a really bad situation into a less bad one. We did lose money, but lose some money, but it was still a pretty good reservation, so, it wasn't the end of the world. Thanks, guys.